Welcome back, everybody. This is Jake Classic Daily, and here's another video explaining more tuning stuff of our standalone ECUs that run Fome firmware. Or if you have a ECU that runs Fome firmware or universal, this will also apply to whatever you're doing. So we've been going through all the different tabs and explaining just how things work. Today we'll be going through the ignition tab. And then later on, through more videos that we do, these we'll get on the dyno and actually show you a real world and how it reacts on the engine. Okay, so today, ignition. So ignition settings, this would have been gone over on our first video where we're explaining the outputs and then what's going on here. So when we have this enabled, this is going to actually allow ignition. It's going to allow the ECU to fire the coils. If you really want to just crank the engine over and test some other things, you can put this to false and it won't turn them on, off, okay? And then it grays everything else. We're going to put this at true. Your mode, this is going to be how the coils are fired, not necessarily how the coils are wired, where Mega Squirt and some of the other ECU, some of the other setups out there do this a little bit differently. We're telling it how you want to do things here. So if you have a single coil, it's going to be only one injector over here. So if your engine has a distributor, if it's individual coils, we have 4 coils set up, and what that's going to do is it's going to fire them either in wasted spark, so in pairs based on the firing order, or sequentially if you have a working cam sensor and it gets full sync. ECU does all that. You don't need to worry about it. Now, if you want to force wasted spark, so even if you do have the cam sensor and you do have full sync, if you want to stay wasted spark, you can choose wasted spark like so, and you're going to choose your output. So in this case, it is a 4-cylinder. So there's going to be four coils, and if I have it wasted spark, it is going to be firing them in sets of 2. So if you had a 6-cylinder engine, for instance, let's show you how that works. We're going to go over here and go 6. Now we have two more outputs turned on, and let's say we are wired for wasted spark. So we only have 3 outputs going out to coils and they're wired in pairs. You would choose wasted spark and you're just going to choose 3 outputs. ECU does the rest. Okay, we're going to go back to individual coils. We're going to put this back to 4, and that turns off the outputs. Timing mode, this is very important. So timing mode, if it's dynamic, it's using your ignition advanced table, which I'll show you here in a second. If you change it to fixed, then this tab here lights up, and you can then set a fixed amount. This is great if when you are setting or confirming your timing, trigger angle and all that you can set this at a fixed rate, use a timing gun, a timing light, and set it to that amount, and then you can verify on the engine that it's actually doing what you're asking it to do. We'll change it back to dynamic for what we're trying to show you. Okay, onward, close. Now we'll go to ignition advance, and this table here is going to be your spark table. So this is ignition advanced as long as the trigger angle is correct and you verified it with a timing light to the top dead center mark and markings on your engine. These timing tables are going to be based on what your engine wants and what it's capable of doing. And this car is set up as a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. So this is a map signal of 0 to 10 kPa. If you had a boosted engine, this would be higher. Yeah, so this is where you're going to be changing your actual ignition advance. And then you can have some correction factors. We're going to look at both of these. So this would be coolant temp. So if you wanted to have timing be extra, if you want more timing when it's cold, you can give it more timing. And then this would be air temp correction. So if the air temp gets really hot, you can have it pull timing because the air is less dense. So in this case, this engine, we have it set up to be pulling a little bit of timing if it's extremely warm. Warm here, and this is our load. Sorry about that. X, you have the intake air temp. Y, we have the load. So at a higher load, we're taking up more time and keep the engine safe. Dwell. So your dwell is going to be how long the coil is energized before the ECU fires it. So it's going to close the coil, let the coil energize, and then release it and let it fire off. In a roundabout way of saying it. So you can have different dwells based on RPM. So again, if you have a single coil, you could have more dwell down low, and then when you come up to higher RPMs like this, I'll adjust. We could have this dwell come down because it gives the coil a little bit of time to cool off when you're up at that high RPM. Voltage dwell correction, you can have that adjust being more dwell or less dwell based on the voltage of the battery. And here we also have our blend tables. We're going to talk about that in another video because the blend tables kind of work across 3 different avenues: fuel, ignition, and boost control. We have knock sensing over here in ignition as well. Okay, we'll have a whole nother video about knock sensing because we can talk about all the ins and outs and how that works. But just want to show you where it is, how it works, or basics of how it works and what it's doing. So you're going to have your cylinder bore. This is really important. So the ECU knows what it's doing. This is going to be the max knock retard based on load and value. So if I click this little box, because we're at 0 right now, we'll click this little guy here. We can type a bunch of information here. So let's go 1,000. We'll do 2,500, 4,500, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. This is all just kind of arbitrary information. We're going to say this again. This was an NA engine, so we're going to go from 0 to 100, and we're just going to kind of add some in-betweens in there, like so. And then if we click this, oh, so it yelled at me because I have 600 in here and not 6,000. Okay. So this would be knock retard. So we could have it go, we can have it pull 4 degrees. We have it pull 4 degrees. So this would be the case if a knock is heard, if we came over our knock threshold here, then it's going to pull 4 degrees. So I just flatlined it 4. You can, again, tune this how you want, so you can have it be more or less based on what you're doing and what the engine is. All right, so that does it for ignition. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but the next one will be talking about cranking, and then we'll continue down the road. If you have any questions, post, comment, send us a message, check the Discord, send us a letter, small package. That'll do it. Thanks a lot, guys. Till next time.